It was supposed to be a normal Tuesday morning. Bright skies, the hum of traffic outside, and the faint smell of pancakes from the diner down the street. But inside the emergency room of St. Vincent's Hospital, nothing felt normal for Aaron Cole. His hands were trembling, his eyes swollen red, and his heart beating so fast it felt like his chest might split open. On the small white hospital chair, he sat hunched forward, elbows on his knees, clutching a worn-out teddy bear, the one his daughter Sophie never slept without. He'd carried it all the way from home, hoping it would somehow protect her. If you believe in the power of kindness, miracles, and second chances, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal, because today's story reminds us how one stranger's heart can change another's entire world. Aaron's world had been unraveling slowly over the past few years. Once a high school art teacher, he'd been laid off during a round of budget cuts. His wife, Jenna, had passed away 2 years earlier after a short battle with cancer, leaving him with a 6-year-old daughter and a mountain of debt. He picked up night shifts at a warehouse, sleeping only a few hours each day, trying to keep their small apartment warm, the fridge stocked, and Sophie's laughter alive. But life had a cruel way of testing him further. Just 2 hours ago, Sophie had collapsed at the breakfast table. One moment she was smiling over her cereal, the next she was gasping for air, her little fingers clutching her chest. The memory replayed like a nightmare as he sat in the ER, staring blankly at the swinging doors where doctors had rushed her away. He had no one to call. His parents were gone. Friends had drifted away after Jenna's funeral. It was just him and Sophie. The hospital's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, sterile and cold, as tears streamed down his unshaven face. He buried his face in his palms, the teddy bear pressed against his forehead. "Please, God," he whispered, "don't take her too." Around him, the waiting room moved in slow motion. Families pacing, nurses typing, a TV playing muted headlines. But to Aaron, the world had gone silent, until a soft voice broke through the noise. "Is this seat taken?" Aaron looked up, startled. Standing before him was a woman in her late 40s, elegant but gentle in appearance. Her ash-blonde hair was neatly pinned, her face framed by large, dark glasses. She wore a cream trench coat and held a paper cup of coffee in one hand. Even in the harsh hospital lighting, there was something calm about her presence, like warmth slipping through winter air. "No," Aaron mumbled, wiping his face. "Go ahead." She sat beside him quietly. For a while, she said nothing, just sat, sipping her coffee, eyes drifting toward the hallway where the doctors had disappeared. Then, after a pause, she glanced at the teddy bear in his lap. "Your child?" He nodded. "My daughter, Sophie. She's 7. His voice cracked at the number. "They think it might be her heart." The woman nodded slowly, her expression softening. "I'm sorry. That must be terrifying." Aaron managed a hollow laugh. "Terrifying doesn't even begin to cover it." He rubbed his face. "I keep thinking, I should have seen it. She's been getting tired so easily lately. I thought it was just the heat or, I don't know. Kids get tired, right? Parents see everything," the woman said gently. "But we also carry too much to notice what we're carrying." Her words struck him in a way he didn't expect. For the first time in hours, he looked at her more closely. There was a deep sadness behind her composure, a quiet grief that seemed familiar. "Do you have kids?" he asked. "I had one," she replied softly. "My son, Ethan, he passed away 5 years ago. Car accident. He was 21. Aaron's breath caught. "I'm so sorry." She smiled faintly. "Me too." Then she reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a small silver locket, turning it in her hand. "After he died, I thought I'd never walk into another hospital again. I couldn't bear the smell of antiseptic, the sound of those machines. But lately, I come here sometimes, I sit in waiting rooms, I talk to people." Aaron frowned slightly. "Why?" "Because I know what it's like to be alone here," she said. "And I promised myself that if I ever saw someone breaking the way I broke, I'd sit beside them, even if all I could offer was silence." Something inside Aaron cracked open. He pressed his lips together, trying not to cry again, but the tears came anyway. "I can't lose her," he whispered. "She's all I have left." The woman placed her coffee cup down and rested a hand lightly on his shoulder. "Then don't give up yet," she said. "Sometimes life pushes us to the edge so we can learn what we're truly capable of holding on to." For the next hour, they sat together. She asked about Sophie, her favorite color, her favorite song, the silly things she said at bedtime. He found himself talking, really talking, for the first time in years, about the nights he fell asleep on the couch after working double shifts, about how he missed painting, how he used to make storybook drawings for Sophie, and about Jenna, the way she laughed so hard she snorted, how she left sticky notes on his coffee mug every morning. The woman listened without interruption, her eyes occasionally glistening. And in that quiet corner of the ER, a strange peace began to settle around them. Hours later, a doctor emerged. "Mr. Cole?" Aaron jumped up, nearly dropping the teddy bear. "Yes? How is she?" The doctor smiled reassuringly. "She's stable now. We found a congenital heart condition that went undiagnosed. But we managed to get her heart rhythm back to normal. She'll need surgery soon, but she's awake and asking for her dad." Aaron's knees nearly gave out. He covered his face, sobbing in relief. The woman beside him stood quietly, tears forming in her own eyes. When he finally looked up, the first words out of his mouth were, "Thank you for being here." She smiled. "Go see your little girl." He nodded and started toward the hallway, but something made him stop. "Wait, what's your name?" "Evelyn," she said with a small smile. "Evelyn Grace." When Aaron entered Sophie's room, sunlight was spilling through the window. She looked so small against the white sheets, but her eyes lit up the moment she saw him. "Daddy," she whispered weakly. "I'm okay." He leaned down and kissed her forehead, clutching her tiny hand. "You scared me half to death, kiddo." She smiled. "Did you bring Mr. Teddy?" He laughed softly through his tears and placed the bear beside her. "He never left my side." For the first time in a long time, the heaviness in Aaron's chest began to lift. But as he turned back to thank Evelyn again, she was gone. He asked the nurse at the front desk, but no one had seen her leave. A week later, as Sophie's surgery date approached, Aaron received an envelope in the mail. There was no return address, only his name written in neat, looping handwriting. Inside was a letter and a cashier's check. His hands trembled as he read, "Dear Aaron, you don't know me beyond that hospital waiting room, but I saw in your eyes the same fight I once lost in myself. I built my life on wealth that couldn't save the one person I loved most. Maybe I can help another father keep his world whole. This isn't charity. It's hope, passed forward. Use it for Sophie's surgery. And when you can, help someone else someday. That's all I ask. Evelyn Grace." Aaron's breath caught as he unfolded the check. $150,000. Enough to cover the surgery and more. He sank into the couch, clutching the letter against his heart, sobbing uncontrollably. A month later, Sophie's surgery was a success. She recovered quickly, her energy returning, her laughter echoing through their small apartment again. Aaron hung Evelyn's letter on the refrigerator door, a daily reminder that kindness can arrive in the quietest moments, from the most unexpected places. As weeks turned to months, he started painting again. His first piece after years of silence was a portrait of the hospital waiting room. 2 chairs side by side, one empty, one occupied by a woman with silver hair and kind eyes. He titled it "The Seat Beside Me." The painting caught local attention when he donated it to a charity auction. The proceeds went to a fund for families struggling with medical bills, just as Evelyn had helped him. One act of kindness had sparked another, and then another, like a ripple through still water. Months later, Aaron visited the hospital again with Sophie, now healthy and radiant, holding a bouquet of sunflowers. He placed them in the waiting room where Evelyn had once sat. "Thank you," he whispered to the empty chair. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal to remind others that no act of kindness is ever too small to save a life. And before you scroll away, take a second to comment below, "Kindness lives on." Because sometimes a stranger sitting beside you can become the miracle you never saw coming.